and hey, you can't see it, but there's a table in front of me, and notes, and the book is easy to grab, and there's a microphone. And I want to talk about characters this week. Okay? Welcome to Matt Reviews Books, and I am Matt. And this is a book review channel dedicated to older books. Books that were bestsellers at one time, but aren't any longer. You'll find them in the used bookstores, in Grandma's attic. Maybe you'll find them in that estate sale box that you're not really sure what's in there, but you pay $3 at the lien auction for the storage unit. And hey, look, a bunch of books. That's what we like to talk about. How about you? If that sounds like a good idea, then you should subscribe down below. It used to be a big red button. Is it still a red button? And hey, just for added fun, go ahead, hit that notification bell, and you'll know when I upload. Moving right along, this week I want to talk about something a little different. I want to talk about character. And specifically, I want to talk about a couple of characters who are generally secondary characters in this particular series. This is, wait for it, Proven Guilty by Jim Butcher. It's one of the Dresden novels, the Dresden Files. A novel of the Dresden Files. That's what I meant to say. Let's get into, before we get too far along, let's get into the synopsis. All right, so here we have it. It starts off with a bang. Harry, our protagonist, he's a warden. He's one of the enforcers of the laws of magic, and he is witnessing at the very beginning of the book the execution of a warlock, which is to say a magician who uses black magic, or a wizard who uses, specifically a wizard who uses black magic. And that sets up the basic premise for the entire book. It's actually very well done. So we get he sees here this execution of this warlock, after which he's approached by senior members. He's approached by basic leadership to investigate black magic in Chicago, which is where he lives. He lives in Chicago, and he has to go find what's happening with the black magic. Now, in the Dresden Files universe, black magic is an absolute death penalty. Just done. You're over it. And what happens is his investigation of the black magic leads him to a friend's daughter, Molly Carpenter, who will become important as the story goes. In fact, she's important almost like a MacGuffin, which it seems like what she needs help with has nothing related to do with the black magic, which turns out to be completely not the case. She, in fact, has quite a bit to do with the black magic. About halfway through, somewhere in there, she's kidnapped by the fairies, and Harry and his friend Karen Murphy and his dog Mouse, and his not really friend, but Molly's mom, Charity. Who else is there? I don't know. There's some people there. They all go into what the Never Never, which is the fairy world, and there in the Never Never they go rescue Molly, and they bring her out, and well, Molly has to go on trial for black magic as being a warlock, but she becomes Harry's apprentice, and which opens up the door for a whole bunch of pop culture references about apprentices and Padawans and things of that ilk. And if this sounds like a truncated synopsis, it kind of is, because I really want to actually get onto the meat and potatoes of this channel and really this video, which is my thoughts. We're going to slow down. I sound really caffeinated because I probably am really caffeinated. I've only had 4 or 5 cups of coffee today. What can I say? So 2 characters in this book, proven guilty, jump out. Oh, here, it's right here. See this? Okay. Jump out at me. First one is Charity Carpenter. Oh, right, Molly Carpenter's mom. And the second one is Mouse, Harry Dresden's dog. And they, for the rest of the books that I've read, they tend to be really like tertiary characters. They're supporting. They're there to season things, like the interactions between Harry and other people. They're not really. They're not integral to the plot in a lot of ways, and when they're used, they're kind of just more devices to move the plot along, or to use some narrative, or there needs to be some exposition in there. So we use a dialogue. So Jim Butcher, uses dialogue instead of just prose. In this case, in Proven Guilty, Jim Butcher decides to use Charity in a much more forward capacity. She's much more important to the story as a character, and she and Harry have been at odds. She's one of those people who doesn't like Harry. She has her own secrets, but she doesn't like Harry, and she doesn't really want him around, even though Harry and her husband sort of do the same. Well, not the same thing, but her husband is a knight and fights evil for the church, and Harry is a wizard who upholds wizardy laws. But Charity doesn't like Harry. But Charity becomes a very important character in this book. And Mouse, who was a dog, he doesn't say anything. He doesn't speak. He's just a really big dog. And when I say big, I mean big. And I always imagine those, what are those called? Like the wolfhounds, the really big ones, the Russian dogs, or I forget the ones they're bigger than Rottweilers. But I always kind of think of Mouse like that. And it happens, though, that Mouse becomes part of he just becomes a character instead of being the dog where he's sort of been. This one seems it feels as if, as Jim Butcher was writing this novel, that the characters took over from him and just decided to direct the book, and it feels very much like the flow of the story is with Mouse and Charity, not Harry and Molly and the wizardy stuff. And I like that. It's important that when I think as a reader, I really want to read those moments when the characters and the story actually take over from the writer, and the writer isn't putting together words and paragraphs and sentences in trying to craft it. When the story just falls away and there's all the dross of language becomes invisible. I really like that. That to me, it's the characters. I want to care about these characters, and for whatever reason, this one, Charity and Mouse just jump off the page. Mouse has his own personality as a dog, and Charity has this arc. She transforms from the beginning of the story to the end of the story, and it is paid off. It's worthwhile, and it's not cheap. She earns it, and uh, it's kind of it's really nice, actually. What can I say? It's kind of a weak thing. It's nice. But in all actuality, is that is really that's the holy grail of writing, I think. And I really hope that at some point, if I were to ever talk to Jim Butcher and say, "Hey, this just seems like characters took over and stole the story from you," I hope that's the case, that he was aware of that happening. It's very rare when that happens. It's a special thing. It's a special thing to feel. It's a special thing to read. If you're still here and you're still watching, I hope you subscribe. I hope you enjoyed this. And if you've read the book, let me know what you think. Am I seeing something that's not there? Hey, I will see you next time. Okay, bye. I'm looking for a mouse. Why am I looking for a mouse? I'm not actually moving a mouse. I'm just moving a book around.